Before we dive in, hit subscribe so you don't miss new episodes. If you find value, a quick like helps us reach more people. Let's get started. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something pretty unsettling, actually. It's the deepfake CFO scam.
Yeah, it's definitely moving up the list of serious financial threats, not hypothetical anymore.
Exactly. And when we say deepfakes, we mean those AI-generated videos, right? The ones that can make someone look and sound like, well, anyone else.
Precisely. And they've evolved quite rapidly from just online pranks or experiments to sophisticated tools for fraud.
So our mission today is pretty clear.
Yeah.
Understand this scam, why it's so dangerous, what's driving it, and crucially, how you can protect yourself or your organization.
Definitely. Staying informed is key here, especially with how fast this tech is moving.
And to really hammer this home, let's start with a real-world example, a big one. A firm in Hong Kong lost over $25 million US.
That's right, HK $200 million, a staggering amount. It involved a multinational company, Erupt.
So set the scene for us. How did this even begin?
It started, like many scams do, with an email. A phishing email, seemingly from the company's UK-based CFO.
Okay, a phishing email. That sounds familiar. But then it escalated.
Massively. The employee who received it was then invited to a video conference call. And on that call, well, things got very convincing. They saw people who looked and sounded exactly like the CFO and other senior colleagues.
Wow. Not just an email, but a full video call with essentially digital clone.
Exactly. And these deepfake executives created this sense of urgency, asking for immediate financial transfers, very significant amounts.
And the employee, seeing familiar faces, hearing familiar voices on a video call, they believed it.
They did. It exploited that trust. The visual and auditory cues felt real. So the employee went ahead and approved transfers, multiple transactions adding up to that HK $200 million figure.
Over $25 million US. Gone.
Until they realized.
Until they realized that everyone on that call, apart from the employee themselves, was entirely fake. A sophisticated deepfake creation.
How is that even possible? How do they make them so convincing? It's likely they use generative AI tools. These tools can be trained on publicly available video and audio clips, interviews, presentations, anything online featuring the target individuals.
So they scrape the internet for footage and use AI to build a digital puppet, essentially.
That's a good way to put it. It's a combination of exploiting trust, using perceived authority, creating intense urgency, and leveraging this increasingly powerful AI technology.
And the Hong Kong police are investigating this as a pretty groundbreaking case, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. It really signals a new era, a much more dangerous era for financial fraud.
Okay, let's unpack that. Why is this specific type of scam, the deepfake video call, so much more potent than, say, a well-crafted email?
Well, it hits us on a more fundamental level, doesn't it? We're wired to trust what we see and hear directly.
Right.
A video call feels personal, immediate.
Yeah, seeing someone's face, even on a screen, carries more weight than just text. There's a psychological pressure.
Exactly. Sensory trust. And that's what makes it so effective at bypassing standard security checks, voice verification, visual confirmation. If the deepfake is good enough, those checks fail.
And the technology is getting good enough. Terrifyingly quickly.
It is. Plus, the scammers almost always inject that urgency factor. This needs to happen now. Keep this confidential. It rushes people, prevents them from following standard procedures or asking questions.
It short-circuits the normal checks and balances.
Right. And the bigger picture here is an erosion of trust. If you can't trust a video call with your own CFO, what can you trust digitally? It forces a rethink of everything.
And you mentioned the technology becoming more accessible. It's not just sophisticated state actors anymore.
No, that's a key point. The rise of generative AI means the tools to create deepfakes are easier to get, easier to use, less computing power needed, less technical expertise.
So the barrier to entry for this kind of high-level fraud is lowering.
Significantly lower.
Good.
Which means we're likely to see more of it, unfortunately.
And it strikes me, this isn't just about impersonating a CFO, is it? This technique could be applied across finance.
Absolutely. Think about private credit or lending. Impersonating someone on an investment committee to approve a loan draw or waive a covenant. Huge potential damage.
Or commercial real estate, altering wire instructions right before a deal closes.
Exactly. Imagine getting a last-minute video call appearing to be from the seller's lawyer, changing the wiring details. Devastating. Or luxury asset finance, a fake client authorizing payments for, say, urgent yacht repairs.
Securities-based lending too, I suppose. Getting someone to approve liquidating assets or taking out loans against a portfolio.
Yes, especially targeting high net worth individuals or their portfolios. And even investor relations. Think about a fake advisor calling a client, urging an immediate capital transfer, or even trying to manipulate stock prices through fake announcements.
These aren't just wild what-ifs, are they? The vulnerability is real across sectors with high-value deals and lots of digital communication.
It's very real. The common threads are high stakes, reliance on digital channels, and the potential to exploit trust in familiar faces and processes.
So what's really driving this? It feels like a perfect storm of tech advancements and maybe changing work habits.
You're right, it's several factors converging. First, the AI itself is just getting exponentially better. Deepfakes are harder to spot, more realistic all the time.
Okay, the tech itself. What else?
Remote work. Definitely. We're all on more video calls now than ever before, right? That just creates more opportunities, a larger attack surface for this kind of scam.
Makes sense. More video calls, more chances to slip a fake one in.
And then there's the data availability. Think about how much video and audio of executives is just out there. Company websites, YouTube interviews, social media, it's fuel for the AI training models.
Our own online presence becomes ammunition against us.
In a way, yes. We're also seeing cybercriminals get smarter, more strategic. They're not just blasting out emails, they're using AI for targeted patient attacks. They plan these things carefully.
So less brute force, more sophisticated planning.
Exactly. And finally, many organizations just haven't caught up. Their security protocols, their verification methods, they might still be based on assumptions that are no longer valid in the age of deepfakes.
Relying on a quick visual check on a video call, for example.
Which, as we've seen, can be completely circumvented. It's this combination: better AI, more remote work, readily available data, smarter criminals, and lagging security that's creating this surge.
Okay, this is concerning. But let's shift to solutions. What can actually be done? What are the concrete, actionable steps to defend against this?
Right, because defense is possible, but it needs to be proactive and multi-layered. The single most important thing is probably multi-channel verification.
Maybe.
Meaning, don't rely only on the channel the request came through. If you get an urgent request on a video call, pick up the phone and call a known trusted number for that person. Or use a separate secure messaging app. Confirm it out of band.
So verify through a completely different method before acting on a high-stakes request.
Exactly. The goal is to break the potential compromise. If the video call is fake, a phone call to the real number should reveal that.
Makes sense.
What else? Employee training is huge. People need to be aware this threat exists and know the red flags. That sense of urgency, any weird visual or audio glitches, requests that bypass normal procedures, empower your people to question things.
Train them to be healthily skeptical, essentially.
Yes, and to report suspicions immediately without fear of slowing things down unnecessarily. Then there are AI detection tools. They're emerging. They can help analyze video for signs of manipulation.
They're not a magic bullet.
Definitely not a magic bullet. They're a tool in the toolbox, but don't rely on them solely. Keep those other checks in place, which leads to updating your actual security protocols.
Auditing how approvals happen, how communication is secured.
Constantly. You need to ensure your processes are resilient against these new kinds of threats, not just the old ones. Using encrypted communication channels for sensitive stuff is also important.
And having a plan for if the worst happens.
Absolutely. An incident response plan. Know exactly who to contact, how to try and stop payments, how to investigate, how to recover funds if possible. Speed is critical if a fraud occurs.
So it's a mix of tech, process, and people.
It has to be. No single element is enough on its own.
So wrapping this up, that $25 million Hong Kong case, it's more than just a shocking headline. It's a serious wake-up call.
It really is. It shows vividly how traditional security can just crumble against these advanced AI-driven attacks.
And the message seems to be that complacency is the biggest risk right now, especially for anyone handling significant financial decisions or assets.
Precisely. You can't afford to assume your existing measures are enough. Adopting these proactive, multi-layered strategies, technology, robust processes, ongoing training, it's not optional anymore.
It's become a strategic necessity, really, just to operate safely.
Absolutely. Defending against this isn't just IT's problem, it's a core business resilience issue.
It certainly forces you to look inwards, doesn't it? To really question how strong your own organization's verification processes are.
And that's probably the key thought to leave you, the listener, with today. How confident are you really that your current procedures could stand up to a sophisticated deepfake attack like the one we've discussed?
A sobering question indeed. Thanks for listening. If today helped or made you think, hit like it tells the platform this content matters. And tap subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.